Hello, hello, hello. I welcome you all to this live session by Great Learning. And today will be an extremely fun session. So, today I and Sampriti, who are part of Great Learning's SME team, will discuss everything with this amazing field called as data science. So, just to give you guys a context, data science, well, especially in the field of data science, a lot has happened in the past year during the pandemic, and we'll discuss about all of that. And also, we'll see what are the trends of data science in the upcoming year. So, this is going to be a fun, interactive podcast where I and Sampriti will be discussing among each other with whatever the trends were. And also, we'll be taking up questions from the chat from you folks. So, whatever questions you have, you can put them up. And we are actually expecting the audience members to be from different different backgrounds. So whether you are a fresher, whether you are an experienced professional, whether you have 2 to 3 years of experience or more than 10 years of experience, I believe that all of you are welcome to this session, and all of you can put forward your questions, and we want this to be as interactive as possible. So, on that note, we'll start off with today's session, and also give me a quick confirmation if you can hear me properly and if you can see my screen properly. So, I'm just going through your questions, and in the meanwhile, so what we'll do is we'll actually start off by telling you folks how we got into the field of data science. So, I guess Sampriti, maybe you can start. How is it that you got into the field of data science?
Yeah, so basically, when I joined my first company, from that only they have just put me on the project of data science, and from there itself I start thinking about this domain is really nice to work with, and there are lots of things you basically can do with this domain, and there are lots of cool applications we do have in data science as well. So it's basically umbrella we can say for the data science. There are lots of domains we have, particularly like machine learning, deep learning, and if you know this, you can actually go for doing lots of applications, and we can see this application every day. We use those applications as well. So yeah, this is how I started working with data science. So why don't you share your journey with data science? How you started with?
That's great. So mine was actually interesting. So when I was in my fourth year of engineering, we had to do this college project. So I believe everyone in engineering does a project, but not everyone actually does a project. They normally buy a project or they copy it from their friends.
Right.
So what I actually thought was, instead of copying it from my friend or buying a project, let me actually learn something by myself. So
Okay.
during that time, there was this site called as Data Camp, which had, I believe, launched just around that point of time. This was in 2016, maybe.
Yeah.
So that is when I had to work on this project. So I went on to the site, and that was the first time I came across this language called as R.
Okay.
And it seemed very fascinating to me because till then I knew languages such as only C, C++, and Java. But what this language called as R could do was, it was totally different. So I could create beautiful visualizations with it. I could find insights from the data, and this was something which I did not do, or I wasn't really aware that a programming language could, you could use a programming language could do these sort of things. So I started learning R, and then there were these lot of courses on Data Camp itself with respect to data science and machine learning.
Yeah.
I started learning them a lot. And for my major project, what I did is I just took this small data set from Kaggle, and I did a very simple exploratory data analysis. Now, the best part is no one in my college knew about data science or this language called as R. So even though the project was extremely simple, but my professors and my peers found it very interesting. So this is how my journey started over there. So this was quite fascinating for me. So just that fascination among my peers itself, that they never came across this language called as R, and for them this domain called as data science seemed very fascinating.
Yeah.
So the number of lines of code which I would have written, maybe around 100 lines of code, not more than that, and that was my entire major project. But then again, it seemed very cool. It seemed very fascinating.
Yeah.
So that is how I started. So yeah, you can continue.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just a question to you that what do you think, like for R or Python? Well, we often get this question, right? So if we need to choose between R and Python, so which one you should choose for data science? I mean, like Suppose you are taking someone has no idea about the coding background, and which one you should suggest? I mean, just a random thoughts.
I'd say both of them are equally important.
Mm.
And that is because when it comes to the industry, the language would vary from project to project. So, one project you'll be working with Python, another project you'll be working with R. But also, sure, you'd have to understand that both of these languages are very similar and they're very easy to learn.
Yeah.
So, if you start with Python, then learning R is extremely easy. If you start with R, then learning Python is extremely easy. So I'll just tell you what these languages are specifically used for. So R is an extension of a language called as S. So S, because that was a language which was developed by statisticians for statisticians. And because again, statisticians wanted to keep it very simple. And that is because for statistics, they named it S. So the iteration of S was R, which was like the go-to language for data science and statistics.
Right.
Now, what happened is this language is mostly used by your professors or mostly the PhD candidates who do a lot of research. But when it comes to the industry, Python started to take over. So when it comes to machine learning and AI, since all of your deep learning frameworks such as TensorFlow, Keras, and PyTorch, all of these are based on Python. That is where Python started to take off. But then again, in the industry, both of them are equally used, and it depends on what is the project that you're currently working on.
Right.
So I
I
hope the
mean,
experience would be same with you as well.
yeah, the same thing. It just depends on the project you are working on and which one will work best for that particular project. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just going through a list of questions that we had prepared for.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll actually open YouTube as well and I'll go through the questions if the chat is posting something. And folks, we want this to be a very interactive session. So if you have any queries, any suggestions, please put them out over here. That would be amazing.
I mean, anything related to data science, and if you need to understand something, we actually came here to answer those questions itself. Yeah.
All right. So there's this, let me actually tell about this movie called as Moneyball.
Right.
So have you seen the movie?
Yeah, obviously, it's quite interesting as well.
Right. So when I saw the movie, I was actually quite surprised that data science was used in this movie.
Yeah.
So I'm actually a huge fan of Brad Pitt. So I just saw this movie because Brad Pitt was in it. Now, but when I saw the movie, it was extremely eye-opening for me because I never thought data analytics can be used in the field of sports as well. So
Yes.
there, Brad Pitt, and this is actually based on a real life story. So
Right.
you have a coach who has built his entire team on the basis of analytics.
Yeah.
And this team won around 12 or 13 league games in a row, which never happened in the history of Major League Baseball, I believe.
True. This is really interesting, and this is something like a eye-opening as well. That what you can do with the help of the data. So whatever we talk about data science or machine learning, everything best on like going around the data itself. If you have the data, you can do like whatever you want. Basically, it's a magic. Sometimes it feels like.
Oh, yes, it is. Because, so also when you talk about data science, you're predicting something which can happen in the future, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that is nothing less than magic.
Right. I
You
mean,
know?
you can see the future basically. It's
Oh,
something,
yes.
yeah, it's something kind of a magic that you can see your future, you can predict it, and you can basically give the warnings if something going to happen worst with your company or something like that. So these are the really
Exactly. And that is why I believe the top companies across the world are on a hiring spree for data scientists and machine learning experts all over the world.
yeah, I mean, all the companies trying to move towards this particular technology because of its lots of features they can use, and they can actually use this particular thing to their lots of places as well. So these are the things basically I can say that companies are moving towards. So there is a high growth in this particular field as well.
So, Sampriti, when you say that, so I believe there will be a lot of freshers who are attending this session. So, how do you think a fresher can get into the field of data science?
Yeah, I actually used to get lots of questions like during my session that if I'm a fresher, how can I get into this data science field? Like what I feel like if you are a fresher, it doesn't matter if you know how to solve the problem the company has. Like maybe you can talk about Swiggy, Zomato, Ola, Uber. I mean, all the companies currently using these things, right? So they have particular problems and you have to solve them. And I believe for all the data science interview, what they do, they actually give you a scenario and you have to solve it. If you can solve it for them, so they don't care about you are a fresher or you are someone that who is very experienced. But if you are someone can solve the problem, they can take you. To solve the problem, you have to be clear with few things. Like we know that's pillar of data science, the linear algebra, statistics, a basic statistics, one programming language, and obviously machine learning. So these are the things if you have the grip, so I think anyone can go into this particular field. So in that case, it's hardly matter if you're a fresher or if you are someone is actually experienced. So in this case, I feel that if you're a fresher, if you know how to solve it, it's all done.
Right. So when you say that, I also get queries such as I'm from mechanical engineering or I'm from chemical engineering. So is it possible that I can switch to data science?
Yes.
So do you think is that possible? Is there any difficulty? And what would be the difference between?
So in this case, what I feel like, no, if you are someone who can understand how to do the programming, so no, it's not a problem. That it's not a big problem. What you need to know the way you actually learn mechanical engineering, or if you went for chemical engineering, the same thing you need to do here as well. You just need to know the concepts and you can start working on that. So it's hardly matters from which background you are. You can anyway you can start working on this particular field, and this is something it's not monotonous. Again, this is something the
Oh,
school
yes.
stuff we can do basically using these things, and always it keeps us motivated. So it's something I feel data science is very interesting because whatever you are doing basically, so you can see that you are doing the prediction. Basically, you are doing the magic. So it's something really interesting if you just start your journey with it. It's just my experience basically.
So as I told you about Moneyball, so similarly, a lot of analytics is used while picking up players during IPL auction as well.
Yeah.
Now, one of the reasons why Mumbai Indians is one of the best teams in IPL is because the core thinking group of Mumbai Indians uses a lot of analytics while choosing players.
Yeah.
So when players like Hardik Pandya, Krunal Pandya, or even Mayank Markande were picked up, a lot of analytics. So their bowling actions were analyzed, their batting stances were analyzed, and all of this is available in the format of digital data. And that is truly amazing, isn't it? So when something is available digitally, you can just analyze every single thing. And also, I believe that a lot of these players also analyze their matches. So let's
Yeah.
say if a bowler such as Jasprit Bumrah has a bad day, then he'll go back and analyze if there is something wrong with how he has bowled. He'll watch those scenes again and again, and there actually be an analyst working with the team. So he'll go to the analyst and he'll ask him if there are some things which he can improve upon himself.
Yeah, this is true. We are getting also few questions. We can answer that as well.
Sure.
Uh,
So maybe you can take up the first question.
okay, so I'm currently in IIT with Nagpur. This on the first, right? Uh, yeah, and we are learning basic Python for ML. Filled under a club. Can we guide me more about the path I should follow after that? Okay, so the learner basically wants to understand that after Python, which one they should go for. So yeah, so to answer your question, Shashank, so the thing is like basically after Python, it's my understanding that you need to have a basic understanding of the statistics and the basic understanding of the linear algebra, right? It's a basic thing you need to know. Everyone knows it, just into brush up that, and then you have to go for the machine learning part, the machine learning algorithms, the types of machine learning we have, and maybe you can go for a few projects as well. You will understand this concepts more precisely on that note.
Right. So we have another question by Shashank again. Do we need to know all techniques such as web scraping, data pre-processing, machine learning, deployment model on Azure, Google Cloud, and Hadoop at expert level if I'm new to this domain? Well, to answer that, Shashank, that again depends on what is the field that you'd want to get into. Because here again, you'd have to understand that the field of data science is different from the field of big data. And I guess you agree with that, Sampriti, isn't it?
Obviously.
Yes, because I'll actually give you the difference. So, as Sampriti has said, in the field of data science, what we'll be doing is working with mostly ML algorithms and a lot of statistics and math concepts. But when it comes to big data, you'll be working with processing systems and storage systems. So, sure, you would have to learn about Hadoop, MapReduce, Spark, and so on. So the roles would also be different. So a big data expert or a big data engineer or a data engineer, these roles would be completely different from the data scientist role or a machine learning role or a data analyst role. So this is the difference which you would have to understand, and on the basis of that, you'd have to prepare yourself. So again, if you're applying for a data engineer role, focus on topics such as Hadoop, MapReduce, Spark, and whatever processing systems are there, whatever storage systems are there. But if it's a data science or an ML role, focus on mathematics, focus on statistics, focus on ML algorithms, go to sites such as Kaggle and participate over there. So I'd say this is the difference, and this is how you bifurcate this. And
Right.
also in the field of data science, ML and AI roles would be completely different. So over there, you will have roles such as a natural language processing engineer. You'll also have roles such as computer vision engineer. And the skill sets required for those roles are different from the skill sets required for a data scientist role.
Right. So obviously, I completely agree with that note because as a natural language processing engineer, you have to work with the natural language and NLP basically. And for the machine learning, you have to work with the machine learning parts. So yeah, so you have to understand that which path you want to go for, and you have to prepare yourself for that. So yeah.
So we're getting a lot of questions. So maybe we'll take 2 to 3 more questions, and we can continue with our discussion then. You can
Mhm.
take up the next question, maybe.
So it's from Mushitrap. He's asking about I'm statistics students. Can I become a data scientist? Yes, if you are a statistics student, then it's a add-on for you, and why you are like this is something you actually can go for. So it's something the domain you actually basically understand more, and you just need to know one programming language in that case. If I'm not wrong, what do you think?
Correct.
So it's
Absolutely correct.
statistics is his forte. He's it's like the data scientist maybe will be the best choice for him.
And to actually back it up, I have a friend
Mhm.
who, so while all of us were doing our engineering, my friend did her BSc in statistics, followed by MSc in statistics.
Oh, okay.
And now she is working at one of the best analytical companies in India with a very good pay package.
Obviously, that's like
So,
they will understand this data more basically as they are really good with the statistics. And yeah, this is really good. So I
uh,
hope you got your answer. Okay.
so I'll take up the next question over here.
Yeah.
Jessa, who is asking, will my current Java learning help me in getting data science quickly in future? Jay, to answer that, if you know Java, well, it helps you in the fact that you know a programming language. But if your question is, will Java help me in the field of data science? My answer would be no, because Java is only a programming language. So now that you know Java, picking up another language would be easier for you. So now you can easily pick up Python or R or maybe even SAS. So now these are again only programming languages, because you will not become a data scientist by only knowing Python or by only knowing R. This is a big misconception with a lot of people have, right? So knowing only Python or only R will not make you a data scientist, or or get you a job in the field of machine learning or data science. So apart from this, focus on ML algorithms such as decision tree, random forest. You have naive Bayes, support vector machine. Now again, when I say understand this, understand the mathematical concepts of them. So when I say naive Bayes, understand what is naive Bayes based on. So you have something called as a Bayes theorem, which is so that again comes into the field of probability. So you'd have to know probability properly. You'd have to know conditional probability, you'd have to know marginal probability, you'd have to know the concept of Bayes theorem, and that is when you will properly know about naive Bayes.
True. And also, you have to have a good understanding of the data as well. I mean, which algorithm to use where. So that's also the main thing you have to keep that in mind. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
these are the basic, like hands-on you have to have. Then only you can say, okay, I'm ready for the data scientist role. So knowing a language, it's fine, but you have to have a hands-on on that.
Sure. That's right. So maybe you can take up the next question now.
Yeah. Um, so again, the question is from Shashank. I am new to this and want to start new career. Okay, so I hope we already answered these questions, right? That how to start
Um,
science.
yes. So if you're a fresher, again, focus on whatever the basic, the basic foundations of data science are. Then everything depends on your skill sets. If you have the required skill sets, then you will get a job. So as simple as that.
Right. So move on to the next question. Uh, okay. So it's question from Dinesh. Sir, can we? It's for you. Sir, can we please do classes on ML algorithms and mathematics for data science?
Sure. We'll take your requests and we will work on them. So, this is actually a good platform to put down your suggestions because we are here for you folks. If you have any suggestions, we will work on them. So, a lot of you folks had actually asked us to prepare a course on Django, and we are currently working on Django and we'll have that ready by January 2nd or 3rd week. So if you have any suggestions, any queries, please put them up. You can
Mhm.
reach us out over here in our live sessions. And we conduct these live sessions so that we can connect with you on a personal basis, so that we understand what you would want to learn and we can also help you out on what you'd want to learn.
Right. Obviously, do not forget to give your suggestions. We will love to hear that from you also. So should we go for the next question?
Sure.
Okay, so it's from King Slayer. What are the skills required for database administrator? Okay, so I should take this question up. So for that, if you ask me about the database administrator, you need to have a good understanding of SQL, right? The basic database. Why would we need it, right? So the basic database you need to know. You need to know the basic concepts of normalizations, ER diagram, and these are the things you have to know. And then you have to know about SQL. There's a basic structured query language. And if you want to go further, there is NoSQL we have, MongoDB we have, and also if you need to have a good understanding of SQL server. So as a database administrator, the main thing you need to know SQL and the database server, I mean SQL server. And then if you want to go little deep on that, you have to go for MongoDB, or you want to go for like NoSQL. These are the basic, like advanced term we can say, but the basics is SQL, and we do have a course on SQL as well. If you want to check that out, you can check that out in our channel also, and also Great Learning Academy, we do have a course on that.
Right.
So what do you think about this? Is the something I think we need to know as a database administrator. So these are the basic terms they need to know.
Definitely, yes. So now maybe we put a hold on the questions and we actually talk about how the situation in the field of data science has been during this pandemic, because I believe a lot of people would also be interested in that. So maybe we talk about, let's actually give examples of how the situation in our company has been, because we, in our company itself, there have been a lot of openings and have been a lot of hires in the field of data science, in the field of analytics. So,
Right.
what is your say on this?
Yeah, so as already we have seen that it's something we use data analytics, data science, machine learning to predict the future. So as this pandemic hits, we know everything is not in that place. So everything is messed up and everyone trying to figure it out how they can, come up with the solution for the in the case of business. Every business is affected by this pandemic. So as we already know, data analytics is something, it's basically give you not the proper one, but at least it can give you the 90 to 95% prediction was right. So in this case, what we can say that all the companies trying to hire data analyst or business analyst, or data of like data analysis and that data analyst as well, to basically try to understand what will be their future condition after this pandemic. So yeah, these are the roles are getting really like in high demand in these days. As the pandemic hits, not for that, and obviously this is one of the most reason that why this particular roles are growing up this time.
You're absolutely right. And again, to give you an example, so recently my friend, he switched from a service-based company to a data science role, and he got 100% hike during this pandemic, which was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, this is always a add-on. I mean, if you are learning this particular domain, so basically, irrespective of any timing, maybe each and every time company wants to know what's going to happen with them, right? So you have the power to focus that. So yeah, again, you have the magic to say, okay, I know these are the data, maybe this will come in the future. So obviously, you have the demand on always in the company.
Sure. But again, the question among a lot of folks would be, let's say, how do I get started in the field of data science? Now, this could be from a fresher's point of view as well as someone who has a lot of experience. So, courses such as Great Learning's courses, how do you think, high quality education impacts someone in the field of data science?
Okay. So basically, what I think normally when we were in a college life, so we do classes, we do like attend the lectures, but we are not that sure about that what actually going to happen. We don't have any hands on that, right? So what I think with like with this industry, you need to have a good hands on. You need to understand the problem basically. So with a high quality education, what you will get the hands on. You will understand what's going to happen in the industry, not theoretically but practically. That's the main key point you have to understand. And also you need to like get lots of opportunity to talk to your peers, and maybe you will get lots of interaction, communication with the network you can build. So I think high quality education is always help you to understand the concepts in a more precise way, in a better way. So all we need to know, not the theoretical one, we all know want to know basically about the how can you go for hands on, how can you handle in the industry. When you will be in the industry, you have to handle those problems. No one is going to like understand that how much good you are in the theory. So these are the thing I feel, if you have a good education, quality education, you can solve those problem as well.
Definitely. And so ourselves have seen how people have transitioned, from a totally different role to a data science role by enrolling in courses such as our BABI courses or AIML courses. And so what I find fascinating about these courses are you have top industry experts such as Dr. Abhinanda Sarkar, who I'm personally a big fan of. I believe a lot of our attendees are a big fan of Abhinanda Sarkar as well. So you have professors such as Abhinanda Sarkar, Mukesh Rao, PK Vishwanath, and these are the folks who are helping you. These are the folks who are teaching you, and you are doing a project under them, which is absolutely amazing. And
Right.
also, another best point which I find about these courses is the mentor sessions. So we have mentors across different domains, across different industries, and these mentors every weekends on a regular basis they interact with the students and actually understand if they have any doubts or if they have any queries and what is it that they can help on. So
Yeah.
that is why I believe high quality education and good teaching matters a lot.
True. I should say it same, because if you have a good teacher, you will get the interest to learn as well. I mean, it's all about how the teacher portraying the thing in front of you. So if they can do that, you will feel that maybe that this is the most amazing thing you are learning. So
Exactly.
yeah.
So whenever I watch Dr. Sarkar, whenever I'm sitting in Dr. Sarkar's class, I feel as if I'm watching a movie and not
Yeah,
actually in a classroom lecture.
that's the
So at
thing.
the
I think
end
it will
of
not make
3 hours,
you bored.
yeah, you can continue.
Yeah, it's not make you feel bored, and you will not feel like, oh God, I'm in the class and I have to sit for 2 hours. So this feeling will not be there.
Absolutely, yes.
Right.
So on that note, maybe we can take up some more questions from the chat.
Okay, so we get a question from Amy, that is AI and ML needed for ethical hacking?
Uh, Wait, could you repeat the question, please?
Is AI and ML needed for ethical hacker? Yeah, ethical hacker.
When you talk about ethical hacking, that again is a totally different domain from your data science domain. So when it comes to ethical hacking roles, what I'd suggest is go to the networking domain, and over there you will have more knowledge of what to actually do over here. So I personally, again, I'm from the data science field, and I do not have much knowledge about ethical hacking. So, you can do a bit of research, but I personally believe that if you want to get into the field of data science, you do not need to know much of ethical hacking, and it's vice versa. If you want to get into the field of ethical hacking, I do not think you'd have to know much of data science. But then again, data science is prevalent everywhere. The basic knowledge of finding insights from the data always helps you.
Right. Okay. So again, I got a question from Avinav. I'm commerce student. How will I start? So I think
Uh,
we already give the answer, but as your reference that if you are from commerce background, the main thing you need to know the basic three pillars we know for data science, that you have to know stats, linear algebra, and programming, like Python or R, and you have to do lots of hands-on to understand this particular subject. So yeah, so if you are from commerce background, if you know how to solve the problem, then again data science is for you. You can start your journey with data science.
So recently we have been releasing these roadmap videos as well, which I believe our attendees can go and watch, and they'll have a proper idea of how to get started. Maybe so if they want to get started with data science, we have a roadmap video on data science. Similarly, if they want to get started with IT and software, we have a roadmap video on IT and software as well.
Yes, I mean this roadmap video will help them to understand where to start and how actually can follow the path as well.
Yep. So we have a
Yes.
lot of questions coming up. Maybe we can alternatively take questions up. So I'll
Yes.
take up the next question.
Okay. Okay. You are going to take the question, right?
Yeah, I am taking up the next question.
Okay.
Ashish is asking how we learn from zero course to advanced to become perfect in data science. So, Ashish, when you again, so I understand that you're a complete newbie in the field of data science. So, this is a step by step process. So, as the phrase goes, Rome wasn't built in a day. Similarly, you do not become a data scientist in one single day. So it might not take you 10 years, but then again, if you'd have to properly get all the skills, then I would say a minimum of around 6 to 7 months is what you'd have to devote, because there are a lot of things which you'd have to learn. So as Sampriti has said, and as I have said, programming language is not data science. Only statistics is not data science. Only machine learning is not data science. So when you combine everything, that is when you have the field of data science. And that is why you need to have a lot of knowledge over here. So take a step-by-step approach. Maybe you keep a timeline for yourself. So let's say you start off with this field called as maybe you start off with the mathematical side of things. Give yourself maybe around 1 month where you learn all of statistics and mathematics. Then come to the programming languages. Give yourself another month, learn Python and R. Then give yourself another month, learn about the machine learning algorithms. Then the next month, you can participate in sites such as Kaggle and improve your expertise. So have a structured approach. And in the structured approach, so have a daily maybe. So if you're working, then put aside maybe 2 hours on what you're supposed to learn, and that is how you can gain all of these skills. And at the end of 6 to 7 months, I'm sure you will definitely get that dream data science job.
True. And also, if you can go for just checking out Kaggle as well. There are lots of like programming going on, and there are lots of competition also used to go on. I mean, you can learn lots of things from there as well. How the actually works in industry for the data science.
Absolutely. Again, so to all of the folks who do not know what Kaggle is, we also have a video on Kaggle telling you how to get started with Kaggle. And we also have maybe 2 live sessions on where we have competed in a Kaggle contest. You guys
Yeah.
can check that out as well.
Yes. So let's take the next question. It's from Ramanan. So again, he's saying, "Ma'am, I'm a fresher. Should choose work on particular domain. and do lots of projects or do a project in multiple domain? Okay, that's a good question. So first question for you, which domain you want to go for? So there are lots of domains you have. You want to go for full stack, you want to go for data science. I mean, which one you want to go for? So again, if you actually go for some particular domain, you need to have proper skills for that and also a lots of hands-on. Right.
So also, Sampriti, I see that we have a watching of 56 and only 38 likes. So
Yeah.
I believe that is not fair, and the folks have to start liking the video. So,
Yeah.
folks, if you have not yet liked the video, we have 56 people watching and only 38 likes. So let's quickly get that up to maybe 65 likes because I'm very greedy about that. And also, if you haven't yet subscribed, click on the subscribe button and also click on the bell icon.
Right.
So I'll take up the next question. And folks, do not forget to like the video. I'm very, very greedy about this. So yeah, I'll take up the next question. And folks, let's keep it very, very interactive. We are conducting this live session for you folks. And if you have any doubts, put them up in the chat right now. Ashay is asking, I am doing online data science courses from Great Learning, and after doing some projects, shall I go for internship or entry level job? I'm a recent engineering graduate. So this again we have answered, Ashay. So right now you have the basic knowledge of data science, and internship always works. So again, so my friend who used to work in a service based company, he he learned some courses first, and after learning some online courses, he did some freelance projects. So you also have sites such as Upwork. So you can go to Upwork and search for some freelance projects over there, and you can work on some basic data science or data analytical projects where you'll also get paid, and you can list those projects on your resume. And I'm pretty sure that you will definitely get an internship, if not an entry level job, when you have listed these projects. So again, when you talk about the entry level jobs, you'd have to understand that you'd have to back up your resume. Now, let's say you're a test engineer in a service based company and you want to switch to the analytical field, and you list down all of the keywords in your resume. Maybe you list down Python, R, TensorFlow, Keras, but on the day of the interview, you know absolutely nothing about whatever you listed in your resume. So that again will not work. So list only those things which you know. If you do not know artificial intelligence, if you do not know TensorFlow, Keras, all of these, do not put them in your resume because you'll be grilled on whatever you listed down. So be honest with respect to what you put down, and and if it's a data analytical role, put down maybe Python or R, a bit of statistics or ML, what you've learned, and they will grill you on whatever you listed on, and also back it up with whatever projects you've done or whatever data science contests you participated in. And Sampriti, I think that needs to be good enough to get an entry level job, isn't it?
Yes, obviously. So these are the thing, the basic things you need to start with. So the company doesn't want the very advanced things from you. What they want, the basic is clear, that you are really know the basics. Then they can actually make you appropriate for their company. So that's not the problem. But you have to be very clear with the basics.
Right, absolutely.
Right. So let's go to the next question. Okay. It's okay. We just give the answer. Sadvik is asking about how to get a job as a freshers and or with zero experience in this field. As everywhere we they need at least 2 years of experience. So already we have given the answer for this particular question, right?
Yes, we have. So, Satvik, to answer that again, you have jobs available at entry level as well. It's just that you would have to, you need to have the right skill sets for it, and do not, add in random stuff in your resume. So, if you want an entry level job as a data analyst, because for the data analyst role, people are looking for freshers. I
Hmm.
don't think anyone will ask for a 15 plus years person in the data analyst role.
Right.
So you have jobs. It's just that if you have the skills, and if you can back it up, and you will definitely get the job.
Right. Okay, let's go to the next question. So it's from Ashay. I'm doing online DS course from Great Learning, and after doing some projects, shall I? Okay, I think you just give the answer on that.
Yes, I have.
Okay, got it. Okay, so it's a question from Raman, and again, how to get into data science and ML government sector.
Hmm. When it comes to machine learning in the government sector, I believe that's very interesting. So there was this. So when Aadhaar card was introduced, we all of us had this fear that our data would be collected from us and we could be spied upon, isn't it?
Right.
So all
Yeah,
of us were scared of that, and that is actually a possibility with data science.
true.
So now what
Absolutely.
happens with Aadhaar card is you are giving all of your information,
Hmm.
your age, your date of birth, where do you stay, your information about all of your family members, and they also have your fingerprint. And
Yeah.
all of this information is stored digitally.
Yeah, and they also have your account details. Like then, there also you have to, that is connected as well. Your bank details, everything is connected.
Yes, that's absolutely right. So I guess this is where again privacy matters of the citizens.
True.
The data science is it's it has the capability to disrupt a lot of domains, but then again it needs to be used in a proper way.
Yeah, it's always keeps that in mind. So you can use this data science for lots of cases, but it's up to you, like where you want to use that.
All right. So this again, so let me actually give an example, a positive example of data science. So you have a lot of fraudulent credit card transactions, isn't it?
Right.
Now, how does a bank know if it was a if it was a fraudulent, credit card transaction or not?
True.
So your banks as well use a lot of ML techniques, and these ML techniques are actually they keep a track of all of our transactions. Now, let's say if my normal expenditure on my credit card varies between 5 to 10,000 rupees in a month, but
Right.
suddenly one fine day there's an expense of maybe 50,000 rupees, and I've suddenly bought high heels worth of 50,000 rupees. Now, normally I don't spend more than 5 to 10,000 rupees, but I've spent 50,000 rupees on high heels, which the machine learning algorithm flags it off as an anomaly.
Right.
Now, so you know what? So what happens over here is the machine learning algorithm. It also keeps track of transactions. So when I say transactions, you have some clustering algorithms. So
True.
here, these clustering algorithms they keep. So my spending pattern. So let's say what I normally spend on is maybe on food or
Mm.
clothes, but not really high heels. So those clustering would be food items or clothes. But suddenly you have a new cluster over there where I bought high heels. So that is something which which the ML algorithm finds to be anomaly, and it is immediately flagged off. And I'm immediately being notified about this. I
Right.
immediately get a call if this transaction was done by me, and I
Hmm.
can immediately inform the folks from the bank that they can cancel this transaction as this was not done by me.
Right. That's true. So yeah, these are the really cool applications of data science. As Kashu was saying that Aadhaar card cannot be hacked. Yeah, that is something obviously government is taking a lot of like protection behind it. But again, this is something we were scared of, right? When this came into the market that we need to do this Aadhaar card and all.
Right. So, Kashyap, the point to note is the
Mhm.
information is digitally available. So, when the information is digitally available, you are also not really sure how is it handled.
Right.
So, if again you have all of the security around the Aadhaar card, but then again, we're not. You don't have the what is the right word? I'm not really able to get the right word over here.
Mhm.
There is no transparency over there, isn't it?
Right.
So, if there's proper
Security,
transparency.
basically. The security was not there. I mean, when the data is digitally available, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if there's proper transparency on how the data is available, then then we can have a much better idea on how the government utilizes this.
Right. So we get a question from Parth. Does PG programs in data science and business analytics through a weekend program has placement support after completion? Yes, we do have placement support, right, for our PG programs.
Right. So I guess again we are not the best folks to talk about this. So if you would want to know more about our PG programs, you can go to our channel. So I guess someone from our team would put out the link of the PG program, and we'll have all of the details of it.
Right. Okay.
So Sampriti, before we take up some of the questions, we've got only 10 more minutes. Let's
Yeah.
actually talk about how to deal with maybe stress during this pandemic, because that is also something maybe people would be interested in.
Yes. So
So
basically, as yeah, you continue, then I will say.
right. So I personally, the first 4 months was so I was in these four walls, and for me it was as if I was put in a jail, and that sometimes leads to a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
So it not only wrecks your personal life, also your professional life. So how is it that maybe a fresher who wants to get a job, or someone who has 5 to 6 years of experience, how can someone deal with this pandemic situation properly? What do you think about it?
So basically, if you are a fresher, I can say like uh, you have lots of time basically as everything delays. So you have time to skill up. I mean, there are lots of courses you will get, and you can actually go and check them out. I mean, I can believe that being a fresher, you really don't explore much because you did not get time because of your semester, your assignments. We all know about that. But yeah, this is the time you can actually use to learn new things. And if you are experienced, and obviously we know we all doing work from home and all this stuff, sometimes it's really boring because we cannot go out, we don't have the social life. So it's something really, it's frustrating as well. But yeah, that's something, if you learn, if you actually passionate about something, some I saw that some of the folks in the LinkedIn that they start learning guitar, or they have start learning painting, right? So and someone wants to go for cooking, right? So it's just something you have time to explore your hobbies, or the something you don't know about yourself. It's the best time, I think, you can think about that, what you are, who you are basically. So yeah.
Absolutely. So I guess my suggestion would be, do not put yourself within four walls, because that is the mistake which I did. And for the first 4 months, it almost felt like a jail. But then again, maybe go out, speak with people.
Mhm.
So I actually had sort of a breakdown, but then again, I started speaking with peers. I started speaking with you folks. I started speaking with my managers. I started speaking with my friends, and that sort of reduced the stress. So yeah, I guess Kashyap Pandu is asking the same thing: how to deal with this situation psychologically.
Yes.
So
So
maybe try new things. Do not think about one single thing a lot. And yeah, like Sampriti said, pick up new skills. You can learn guitar, you can learn cooking. So cooking is something which I'm still trying to learn. Though what I can only cook is maybe dal and rice. That's pretty much it. I'd have to learn more.
yeah, so yeah, you can actually, I mean, I understand everyone is facing a really hard time because it's something our generation never faced this thing. So it's something totally new to us, and staying for a home for almost 4 months and you cannot allowed to go out. This is something of like big thing for us as well. So yeah, we all trying to overcome this situation, and always the starting learning new thing is always like motivate me as well. So yeah, this is something from my side, so you can start learning new things.
Absolutely. So on that note, we can head back to the chat section and take up some more
Yeah.
questions then. So if you would want to take up the next question.
Yes. Okay. So
So also, folks, if you haven't yet liked the video, please go ahead and hit the like button. And also, if you haven't yet subscribed, subscribe to our channel and also hit the bell icon as well.
right. So we got a question from Srinivas that who are offering data science job in India. So for that, we have just recently released a video on that, right? The top 10 companies are currently hiring for data science.
Yes, we have. So you folks can. So I guess someone in my team can put that up. and you guys can go ahead and watch it once this live session is done.
Right. So there are lots of companies are currently hiring for this data science. As we already say that every company is trying to understand what will happen of like in the coming future for them as well. Their sales, their like company standing position, like and also the stock market, right? So it's everything depends on this analytics. So everyone's trying to understand that what will happen in the coming future. So there are lots of openings for not for particularly for data science, but as we say, data science is an umbrella under which we do have lots of domains. So yeah, there are lots of openings. I also can see that every company started hiring this.
Sure. Yeah. So I'll take up one more question from the chat. Ravi Kumar is asking, is data structures knowledge required for data science field? So this again is a very common question which I get a lot. So my answer would be not in depth, because here again you'd have to understand what is the role that you're applying for. So if you're applying for a software development engineer role, which is normally your backend developer or your full stack developer, that is where a lot of knowledge of DS and Algo comes in. So here you'd have to know about. So here you also have interviews, such as you have these whiteboard coding interviews, and in these whiteboard coding interviews, will not be actually given a computer. There'll be a board. You'll be given a marker, and you'll have questions such as how to reverse a linked list, or if this linked list has any loop or not, or maybe how many children does this binary search tree have in order traversal of a binary search tree. So these are the things which you'd have to prepare for a SDE role, the software development engineer role. But if you're actually applying for a data science role, the skill set again is completely different. So here again, focus on statistics, focus on mathematics, focus on programming languages such as Python and R. So again, in statistics, you'd have to learn about hypothesis testing. In probability, you'd have to learn about normal distribution. You'd have to learn about conditional probability, Bayes theorem. So these are the things which you have to focus on a lot. So understand what is the role that you're applying for, and on the basis of the role, you'd have to learn those skill sets.
Right.
Again, if you have any doubts, maybe you can just Google it, isn't it? So if you're applying for a data science role, that will definitely have a job description, and that will definitely have a list of skills that you'd have to learn.
Right. Right. That's the best way basically. And after that, we are also there. We do have lots of live sessions, and we try to help our like audience to help that how can they start their career with data science or any other domain they want to go for. Right.
Yeah.
So
So
let's
folks, when we do these live sessions for you folks,
yeah.
we do this so that you guys learn. So if you have any suggestions, any queries, keep putting them up. So
Right.
Sampriti, you can take up the next question.
Yes. So basically, it's from Akanksha. Is there any option to join free session? Want to join from starting? Yes, we do have this type of session again, right, in the coming days. So
Yeah.
in that case, you can join.
This again is a free session. I don't think we are charging 100 rupees from everyone who's attending, isn't it?
No.
If you guys are paying, I mean, I don't mind if you folks are paying 100 rupees towards this session. So, but then again, we're doing it for free.
Yes. Okay. So it's from okay, Sri. That could you please tell me which is the most interesting technology in computer science?
I guess that's very subjectical, isn't it? That's very subjective.
Yes.
So I might love this. I mean, since we are in data science, we might love data science.
Yeah.
Someone else who's in cloud computing, he would think cloud computing is the best. Someone who's in the field of DevOps, he would think DevOps is the best.
Yeah. It's just
So,
they need to understand which one they want to go for and
right,
where they have the interest.
absolutely.
Right. Okay. Someone is asking, how can you guys join Great Learning? It's from Nitin.
Um, well, we have a career section on the Great Learning site. So you can
Right.
just go to the career section, and whatever job openings you see, you can apply for them.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay. So almost we like it's almost 4 minutes left for us. So we cannot take much question after this.
sure. So on that note, let's maybe wrap it up. So yeah, so what do you think would be would be the year 2021 for data science. How do you see it panning out for maybe freshers or experienced professionals for the next year?
So for the next year, like what I can see that you will get lots of openings for data science. So not maybe the term itself, it's only data science, but there are lots of like related domain opening you will get, because again, we also want to know what will be the future. So in this case, if you still start learning these things, so I think you will easily can get a job in 2021. So all the companies will try to understand that, okay, if you have this skill set, if you know how to solve it, then you are perfect. So yeah, so for my case, I feel like start learning, and I think keep on applying for the job. You will obviously get the job in the data science domain for sure.
Right, absolutely. So one thing I'd like to add is, so to all of the folks who are attending this session, so data science right now, it's not a value add anymore. It's an absolute necessity. So
Right.
whichever domain you are in, data, because you are essentially dealing with data. And right now, during this pandemic, since everything is online, you have a lot more data being generated. So data science is a necessity with respect to whatever domain you are in. So get started as soon as possible. And I
Right.
believe maybe the next, I guess, this pandemic has sort of been a boom towards the data science profiles, isn't it?
Right. That is the main thing. I mean, it's kind of a like advantage for data science domain itself. I mean, the company is moving towards the data science because this pandemic hits, and they also try to understand what will be the future. I mean, yeah, everyone needs to take the protection to make their company in a good position. So I feel this there is a hype for data science because of that as well.
Right. Absolutely. So, folks, this would be the best time to get started with data science. And maybe if you and I can just take up one last question and then we can wrap it up.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yes. What are the things a data scientist should know? I think we already give the answer for that. So many times we have talked about.
Right. So, I'm taking up this question from Jeff. Someone told me that in ML it is like Python at front end and Java at back end. Please elaborate. So, Jay, I guess whoever told you this might be a bit wrong, because you don't really have a front end or a back end when it comes to data science, because you have a lot of different projects. So Sampriti, we were just discussing about maybe Netflix, isn't it? Netflix, the
Yeah.
recommendation system over there. So over there, you have this beautiful recommendation system, which on the basis of, you select 2 to 3 movies and you get tons of movies on the basis of what you actually select.
Right. I mean, it's a it's just a cherry on the cake. I mean, you just don't need to find it out. It will give you the good recommendation, and it just you make you happy. So this is something again the machine learning. They actually do lots of techniques behind it. So yeah.
Absolutely. And here, so you have something called as, so you have an entire domain called as recommendation systems in the field of data science.
True.
So when you talk about front end or back end, it's actually the algorithms which you are using over there.
Yes.
Right. So on that note, so I guess this was it from my side. If you'd want to add something else.
No, it's just from my side. Keep learning, and do let us know what you feel about it. And please do let us know lots of recommendation from you, what you want guys to us to work on. So we will love to do that.
Right, folks. So this would be it from our side. And if you like this podcast, do let us know. We are doing this podcast sort of thing for the next 3 days as well. And if you want us to continue, please let us know in the chat and also in the comments once the video is done. So
Yeah,
thank you very much, and we'll take a leave from our side.
yeah. Thank you. Bye bye.
Yeah.